What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Draft Nerds. As y'all can see, I've been hella busy this week. I told y'all it was up all week because it's draft week. This is where we grind and we shine. And I'm so happy to be joined here with a person that I just admire for what they do, where they've been, and how they do it. And this person does it better than anybody I've ever seen. And that's my friend Ashley Baker. How you doing?
Hey, thank you for having me on. I'm good. How are you? That was such a heartfelt intro.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not even done. I mean, Ashley, you are for those of you who don't know, let's get familiar real quick. So Ashley is a host of Sports After Dark. It's an after-hour sports show on Twitter. She's also a freelance reporter for 1340 AM Fox Sports. And she covers the Mystics, she covers the Wizards, and she also covers the DC Defenders. As you can see, based on the background, she is an avid defender of the Dallas Cowboys. So did I miss anything?
No, I think you covered all bases. You did a good job.
I appreciate it. Well, listen, when you got all these accolades, you got to make sure you get everything in real quick. So I'm going to share something on my screen here. For those who are not following Miss Ashley Baker, there you are. That's how you can find her on Twitter. She's on, I'm sure you're on Instagram. She'll plug all that stuff in at the end. But let's get to it, man. Ashley, how's your week been? I know you are prepping as well for the draft. Yes. I know you're covering NBA. I know the WNBA just had their draft. So it's a whirlwind right now. How's it been for you personally, just from a working standpoint?
To be honest, I love the busy. It's like you said, it's been a whirlwind. The WNBA draft, the NFL draft is coming up. We're right in the middle of the NBA playoffs. The Defender season just started. So it is a lot going on right now, sports wise. So I love the busyness. I have a show after this. We gotta do our Sports After Dark space after this. After the game, obviously the Suns and Timberwolves game. But I mean, our spaces the Sports After Dark spaces are like every night during the NBA playoffs. And the NFL draft kind of snuck up on me just a little bit because there's been so much other stuff going on. And I'm like, oh my God, it's draft week. Like where in the world did this come from? So it's been busy, but I like the busy. It's cool.
I always say busy is good, right? I'd rather be busy than not working at all. And let me tell y'all, sure. If you've never hopped into a Sports After Dark space, listen, they be having hundreds of people in there talking ball, talking sports. It's like barbershop talk, but like in a more controlled environment, and it's dope, right? So if you have not checked out Ashley on Twitter, on Sports After Dark, shout out to the fellas that you do that with as well. They have an awesome product going. So let's start with you, Ashley. As a woman in sports, women seem to be taking over the sports landscape, right? I mean, you got women. Every time you turn on TV, they're women are hosting. They're hosting shows. They're narrating shows. We got beat reporters, and then the WNBA again. I feel like the WNBA is kind of going to heights that we've never seen it, and it's y'all time now. And what does that feel like for you as a woman in sports? And what made you get into this arena? Like what led you to where you are? So yeah, let's do those two questions. So the first question is, what do you think about the landscape in sports when it comes to women in sports, and how did you get involved?
Well, right now, as far as the landscape is concerned, we're just getting started, man. Like I'm excited to see, like you said, every time you turn on the TV, somebody's hosting. Not only have the women, I mean, when you just think about the evolution, the women have, the hosting, the sideline, all of that is still there, but now they're more of opinionists, your Joy Taylors, your Monica McNutts, you know what I'm saying? Your Tarika Brasby, like those individuals have come away from just the moderation. Now, don't get it twisted now. Your Molly Kerm is dope. Your Carrie Champion is dope. Your Pam Oliver and Aaron Andrews, those women on the sidelines and stuff like that. But to for us to have gotten to the point evolution wise where we're like sitting behind these desks and we have a voice, we're conversating with men, we're debating back and forth with the men that dominate these spaces. It's just awesome to see. So the evolution, again, we're just getting started. We're not even at the peak yet. Like this ain't nothing, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you. This is just the tip of the iceberg. It's more to come. Stay tuned. But as far as my journey is concerned, you know, in relation to sports, I grew up in a sports family. So it's always been NBA. It's always been NFL. It's always been college ball, football, basketball. It's always been that stuff to an extent. My dad is like a huge golf fan. He loves golf. You know, we watch tennis. I was always watching the Olympics growing up. Huge figure skating, fan. Shout out to Christy Yamaguchi. I love Dominique Dawes and the gymnastics. So just in general, I grew up being a sports girl. I realized probably around 8th or 9th grade that I really had a knack to like talk sports, like debate, analyze, go back and forth with the guys at school, the guys around the way. And I wasn't good at playing the sport. I sucked at basketball, bro. I really sucked at basketball. I used to try to play around the way with the guy. I'm a foul machine. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a foul machine. So I was like, you know what? Those that can't do, teach. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, always been able, I have like the gift of gab. Always been able to talk, analyze, break down, debate sports. And around that time is when I realized I had always watched it, but being able to talk it and look at it and break it down, that started around like freshman year of high school for me. And it kind of just grew from there. I'm gonna be honest, in high school, I used to do that just to do it. I wanted to be an astronomer. I really enjoyed like planets and space, and I'm like, okay, I want to do that. And that didn't pan out the way I thought it would. You know, Matt, you really gotta love math to be an astronomer, bro. Like
you do. You really do. You really
do. I'm not a math person. My son is great at it. I'm not a math person. So I kind of gave that up and was like, you know what? I can talk sports. And shout out to my mentor, Michael Lau. Shout out to my girl, Mikkel Ramos. Really kind of pushed me into this field, introduced it to me. I talk in social media sports all the time. And my mentor, Mike Lau, was like, look, Fox Sports is looking for exactly what you already do. You need to reach out, send your resume, send your reel. This is what you need to do. And the rest is history. I linked up with my guy, Brian H. Waters. Shout out to him in the wrestling realm. Shout out to Glenn Thomas at Fox Sports, 1340 AM. And it's been history ever since. And just being unapologetically myself. And I think being that has really opened up doors that and put my name in rooms and put me in places that I could never imagine, just really being myself. So glory to God, first of all. But yeah, that's kind of how things
I mean, honestly, I love that, right? Because I always tell people, listen, your passions will make ways for you, right? Your gift will make ways for you, and you just got to stay the course, right? And as long as you stay the course, you'll end up exactly where you belong, right? And so don't listen to people when they tell you, oh, well, no, you can't do this, or you think you can't do that, or even if it gets difficult, just stay the course, because you never know where your natural gifts will take you. They were given to you for a reason, right?
I love that. That's true.
So yeah, absolutely, man. And I love it. I love your story. I just love hearing the woman's journey into this male dominated sport, right? This male dominated arena, and women have y'all ain't just make y'all way. Y'all forced y'all way, kicked in the door, waving the floor, saying we are here, not just here to take part, but we here to take over. And I love it.
And anybody that's listening, whether it's you're a woman in sports, or if you're even a guy, just trying to unapologetically be yourself, put the work in. Consistency is key, and don't ever let nobody try to steal your shine. just as far as the industry side of things, I know we kind of talked about how I got here, but once I got here, it's been a roller coaster. It's been ups and downs. I've been it's anxiety filled. It is, imposter syndrome filled. It is time away from your family, missing out things with your kids, having to kind of sacrifice certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like the I'm not going to say the struggle is real, because I think we glorify that way too much. God didn't put us on this earth for us to struggle. You know what I'm saying? We don't, we kind of look at that as, well, the struggle is, well, I pushed through. Now that ish is hard. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, just stay in the course, being yourself, your drive, your determination, your goals, your passion is going to get you where you need to be, but you have to be consistent and have an incredible village and people that are going to speak life into you. That's important as well.
Absolutely. Hey, ditto to everything you just said. So actually, real quick, for those who don't know, where are you from?
I'm from DC. I'm from Washington, DC. Chocolate City, born and raised.
Yeah.
Why you ask me that?
The reason I asked you that is because you know why I asked you that. So I'm from Baltimore, obviously, I'm from B-more, and
yes.
I always thought it was strange to see this crazy amount of Cowboys fans in DC, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just like, okay, now here's the funny part is the Redskins, now Commanders, one of the Cowboys' biggest rivals, but yet the Cowboys have a huge fan base in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
So what's your story? How'd you become a Cowboys fan?
Blame it on my mama. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So my mom, she was born about 20 minutes outside of Dallas in Mineral Wells, Texas. She was a military brat. So my mom was born in Dallas. I have family in that area, right? So, I mean, to be honest, I was literally born into it. I came from her and I was born into this Dallas lifestyle. We can talk about later, Matt, in regards to, am I happy that I was brought into this life? I don't know how I feel about that right now. I'm not going to lie to you, Matt. Some days I'm happy, some days I'm not. Do I talk to my mother on a regular and ask her, why did she bring me up this way? Yes, I do, Matt. So we can discuss that later, because I know we're going to talk Cowboys. But I was pretty much born into it. My mom is the epitome of like a Cowboys fan, true and blue. So yes, but also I've heard that it's the opposite down in Dallas, though. That It's a lot of Washington fans in Dallas as well.
Wow. Yes. I wonder if those are a bunch of transplants, right? A bunch of people who kind of migrated. Texas is a state, and a lot of people kind of find a name in Texas. So I wonder if that has something to do with it. So I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan, for better or for worse, right? For better or for worse, and it's been worse for a significant amount of time. Just not being where they belong. I just remember watching football as a kid, and I grew up kind of in that 90s era where the Cowboys was so dominant, right? When they was winning championships, and you had the triplets, Aikman, Emmett, and Michael Irvin, and to see, if you had told me then that fast forward all these years later, the Cowboys wouldn't have gotten back to a Super Bowl, I would have been like, look, there's no way. Like that, the team is too good. It's built too well. And so they haven't gotten back to where they belong. And your owner, GM, came out during the beginning of the offseason, and he said, and I quote, he said, and I quote, we're going all in, right? And then proceeded to do nothing, right, during the offseason. What was your take on that when he first said it, first of all? What did you think about, what was you thinking he was going to do? What did you think he meant when he first said it? And then now, fast forward, seeing how everything has kind of transpired to this point, what do you think about what has transpired?
So, first of all, those words make me sick to my stomach at this point. All in. I don't think I've ever hated two words as much as I do right now. But I will say this. So last season, I was a bit bamboozled Okay, so last year, typically Dallas is not a free agency type of team anyway. For
No.
close to a decade at least, they weren't the type of team that would make these splashes or any kind of moves in free agency to begin with, right? We knew you know your team. You got to know your team. You got to know who you're working with, who you dealing with, right? But last season that changed a bit, where they actually were making some moves in the off season and bringing some folks in, and we kind of figured this season, when you hear, oh, we're going all in, okay, cool. During the off season, particularly during the trade season, we're gonna see some moves being made. We know some running backs are going to be available. There were a few available that we didn't even think were going to be available. We knew that there were going to be some top-notch talent at our disposal to grab during the off season or during this part of the season. And the fact that hasn't happened after making that statement frustrates me. It frustrates all of the Cowboy fans that I know. It's a collective thing. This is the first time, and I told you I've been a Cowboys fan all my life. Right. This is the first time I've seen as a collective that the nation is pretty united on the front of we sick of the BS. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, I think we were a bit bamboozled. We know that they don't do that typically, what they did last year anyway. They're a draft heavy team. We make our moves. We do what we were supposed to do in the draft. So that's what's coming up Thursday. That's the only thing we got to bank on at this point. So we literally have not done anything to go all in. And when that was first said, everybody wanted to come out with different interpretations on that. Jury had an interpretation. Steven had an interpretation. Mike had an interpretation. Everybody had a different interpretation on what all in meant. Right. And so I guess I don't know what that means. I don't know where we are, Matt.
Ashley, listen, man. I just want to give a virtual hug to all the Cowboys Nation out there, because when he said all that, I said, "Oh, Jerry finna get the willing and dealing," and then all of a sudden nothing happened, and I'm like, I can only imagine what that feels like, to feel like, well,
especially on how the season ended, Matt. Especially because how the season ended. Like, that was supposed to be our comfort, our remedy. Like, we got knocked out. That was not supposed to happen like that. My ring light keep going out. That wasn't supposed to happen like that.
It was not.
And then we hear that, we're like, okay, bet we gonna run it. That's cool. This will be, and for nothing to have happened as far as crazy.
But listen. I was heartbroken because before the season started, I picked the Ravens and the Cowboys to be in the Super Bowl, and they both got eliminated. And the Cowboys got eliminated way before I thought they would. Obviously, you didn't see Green Bay doing what they did, and then obviously, we losing in the AFC Championship game to the Chiefs. That's another conversation. But like, I guess Jerry made everybody realize that we all have a different interpretation of all in. So today, Jerry Jones.
It's crazy though, because I think me and you have the same interpretation, Matt. I think you and probably the rest of Cowboys Nation has the exact same interpretation on what the hell all in means. Everybody has the same interpretation except him and Steven.
Jerry.
Him and Steven. Steven Jones and Jerry Jones are the only two people that got completely different interpretations from me, you, and the rest of the damn world on what all in looks like. That's it. It's crazy.
Hey, listen. I might as well just like let you just do your thing. Hey, soapbox moment. Get up there. Tell us why you mad, son. Real quick. So Jerry doubled down today, as you know, and let's listen to this snippet of what he had to say today in regards to all in.
Mute. In this free agency, we feel great about what we feel about where we've been in this free agency. We feel great about what we've been in free agency. All in. We're all in with these young guys coming up. And we're all in with this draft. You have to have rookies contribute. Or you aren't getting the value that you need to have. These are your lesser paid as far as the other relative to veterans. They're going to the good ones are going to get paid to have other days of more pay, but that's got to meld in with the overall management or it doesn't work. because you've got 10 players getting 70% of the money. We feel about.
All right. So, Ashley, let's play a game. This name of this game is, what was he really trying to say? Please be a Cowboy interpreter or a Jerry Jones interpreter for the rest of us in the world. What was Jerry really saying when he tried to sell us on, when I said all in, I meant on these rookies and on these players that you haven't seen yet. That's what I meant. Tell us what he really meant, Ashley. Please help us.
I think Jerry. I think Jerry Jones, man. Let me tell you something. I don't know what he meant. No habla español, man. I don't know. I can't be your Cowboys interpreter. I think ultimately Jerry. I don't want people to be confused.
Yeah.
I want people to understand something here. I've been very adamant about this. Cowboys Nation been very. Jerry is simply the mouthpiece. Now, I'm not saying that he doesn't have input on what goes on. This is his squad. He's GM. He's hands on, right? But ultimately, I think a lot of the decision making is coming from Steven.
I agree.
And maybe Jerry did just be trying to be a devil's advocate here, trying to, listen, I can talk all the trash I want to about my squad, but I'm going to stand on my 10 for my team, and I'm not going to let nobody else talk about my team, Matt, right?
What you say? I'm going to stand by him. I know they be stressing me out. I'm
going to stand by him. I think when he said it, he really did think that would be the case. But again, he's not the one making those decisions at this point. It's Steven.
Yeah.
And when those moves didn't get made, I put my foot in my mouth. Now I got to retract and say, we were talking about the draft. We were talking about the rookies coming up. Oh, no, we weren't talking about the Derrick Henry that was available. Oh, no, we weren't talking about the Aaron Jones that became available. Oh, no, we weren't talking about who's the running back, Josh. We weren't talking about Josh Jacobs. We weren't talking about these dynamic running backs that's available. Matt, we weren't talking about going all in on that. We were talking about going all in on unproven players coming out of college. Come on, bro. Like that. And so that's what I'm saying. He's the mouthpiece. And hopefully he'll, that's why I say all the time, stop talking. Stop talking, Jerry, because what you say is not lining up with what Steven and other executives decide to ultimately do.
Right.
So he was backpedaling, bro. He had to moonwalk.
He was in that Deion Sanders backpedal. He learned it from the best now. He learned it from the best. Yeah. I was going to say this, though. You're absolutely right. I felt like when he said what he said, I think he meant what he said. But then after he said what he said, I think he had a meeting with his son and the real decision makers. And they said, hey, Dad, Jerry, whatever you call him, I wish you wouldn't have said that because, we really can't do that.
Tight.
We really can't do that. We really can't do that. So I know you want to go all in, but yeah, we're gonna have to go all in on the guys that we already have. And so that brings me to my next question is, let's say you are the GM of the Dallas Cowboys. What do you think they need to do to get over the hump?
I don't know, man. I bragged about my defense a lot last year. That's something that being a incredibly elite defensive team is something that I wanted for nearly a decade with the Cowboys. I felt like offensively, we've always been in the conversation. They make sure that the offense is stacked. You know what I'm saying? We always have the receivers. We always have decent running backs. You know what I'm saying? Our offensive line has been an incredible offensive line since Zach Martin stepped on the line, right? So, and obviously Tyron Smith. I bragged about my defense. I talked about that. I finally got it. They didn't show up. We had the offense. Dak had an MVP caliber season. Despite us not having a super elite running game. You know, me and my guys in Sports After Dark, shout out to CeeLo and Young Heavy. We always talk about and the Sports After Dark family in general. We always talk about how these days you just need a run game. You don't necessarily need an elite run game to win championships. And you know, the Chiefs have shown that time in and time out at this point, right? So we had a decent run game, enough to win a championship, and we wet the bed in the wild card round against the Packers. I don't know, Matt. You tell me, what is it going to take to get over the hump? We had a decent enough defense that should have showed up, should have adjusted. They didn't. My quarterback played at an MVP level for the majority of the season. My wide receivers were good. We had a decent run game. The coaching seemed a bit more competent this year than they had in years previous.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Well, you mentioned earlier, Derrick Henry. Is that a move you would have had liked to see the team do? Did you feel like they should have gone after Derrick Henry in the offseason?
Yeah. I did want Derrick Henry. He was definitely on the board as an option. Once he got off of the board, and I think Aaron Jones and like Josh Jacobs, some other, I think I wanted Saquon as well. Saquon was an option. You know what I'm saying? I certainly we need a running back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, damn, like I understand if things don't necessarily pan out the way they're supposed to, but for Christ's sake, try.
Right.
Like even Derrick Henry is baffled at why we didn't even pick up the phone.
Yeah, didn't even
you know
call.
what I'm saying? Like you didn't even call. You didn't even call to see what we could do. He lived in Dallas. How do we know that? Hey, listen, I don't care what nobody say. Every player wants to play for the Cowboys. If they pay attention to the history, it's not one player that come in here and be like, I ain't never want to play for the Cowboys. We have had players over the years be like, Dallas, I want to play for you. Come get me. We don't get them. They don't even make a phone call. Like how arrogant, the audacity, the balls on y'all in that front office think that you don't have to pick up the phone for a Derrick Henry. Just see what he talking about. If he ain't talking what you need him to talk, Matt, hang up the phone. If it's not gonna work, then that's cool. But you didn't even pick up the phone.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You're not even showing us that you're all in by you can't even make a phone call. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. You tell me what it's going to take for us to get over the hump. Maybe
so
what GM?
Yeah, maybe he need to not be GM. I mean, I've been saying that for years. But like, okay, so I guess I'm assuming they're going to address the running back position in the draft.
Okay. Right? Yeah. We're hoping.
So with that being said, what do you think the draft strategy needs to be for the Cowboys? Like, what do you think? You know, what position do you think they should target in the first round? And then, like, just overall, what positions in the draft do you think they should address?
With the departure of – it's a bug on my wall. It's an outside bug on my wall. I don't know what it is.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. It's an emergency.
It's an emergency. Oh, it's like an ant. Okay. Sorry. I hate bugs, y'all. All right. So – with the departure of Tyron Smith, right? Even with Tyron there, we need to address the offensive line.
Agreed.
Particularly, I'm thinking offensive tackle.
Okay.
Because ultimately, I believe Dallas wants to keep Tyler at guard.
Yeah.
Right. So the hope is that at 24. We can get a guy that can come in from day one and be a bona fide a tackle that can step right into that role, right? Yeah.
Yep.
I like Jordan Moses. I think that's his name.
Jordan Morgan. Yeah, Jordan Morgan.
Yeah. Yes. I like him as an option. I do know that there are like 4 or 5 or 6 extra like teams behind us though that need offensive linemen, right? So, right, exactly. There's a possibility that folks might trade up. You know what I'm saying? Like try to trade to our 24th pick. And we maybe trade back. And even if we trade back, this draft is so luscious in offensive line, cornerback. Receivers, like this is a really, really good draft where you could trade back closer to the second round and still get a quality player.
For sure.
So I would say offensive tackle. We definitely need to address the offensive tackle. I'm sick of the carousel. Me personally, I don't want to get nobody that we got to develop into being. We need to, if we want to tackle, we need to get a tackle. We don't need to get a guard trying to turn him into a tackle. Let's get somebody at a natural position. I'm sick of the carousel, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we don't, let's just say that there should be somebody there at 24. Offensive, line wise, there really should be somebody there at 24.
You actually should have a really good option at 24, to be honest.
For sure. Yeah. We should have a really good option at 24. But if I don't think we should do best player available. I'm sorry. I'm not for the BPA right now. I want us to get what we need.
Okay.
Our need. Let's say an offensive lineman is not there at 24. We could go defense because we need a defensive tackle. Right? Okay. I'm hearing a lot about Darius Robinson.
Yeah.
Okay.
The dog.
He's versatile. He could play multiple positions, and that matters because we lost some edge guys. We lost some folks on the defensive end. So having a guy that could be versatile on that side of the ball. Dan Quinn is gone. Zimmer, he's gonna run a defense a certain way. We could go defensive tackle. Those would be my two. Obviously, if we can't go offensive line, then we need to go defensive tackle. But we need a couple of spots. We need a cornerback. I feel like we need a center. We need a running back, like you mentioned. So there's a couple of places, but offensive tackle and D tackle is where I think we should go. One or the other, either or.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is the window for the Cowboys, to me, in my opinion, to win the Super Bowl. Is starting to close. They are, they're in this weird space now. Because I felt like last year was the year, right? And now they're in this weird space where they're gonna have to start paying players. There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding Dak Prescott. We gotta talk about Dak. Obviously, he is just a lightning rod for conversation and controversy because he's the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, just say it. You can hate all you want. At the end of the day, the Cowboys are the reason why they're on every TV show is because they have a huge fan base and people want to know what the Cowboys are doing. And Dak is the quarterback of one of the most popular teams in this country, if not the most. And so with Dak not being signed, I'm of the understanding that Jerry's going to let Dak play it out. One, do you think that's a good decision? And two, do you think they find some way to come back together and extend him eventually after the season?
They would. I think so, and I say that because we're not going to really know about the quarterback talent available college-wise until college get rolling, right? And Dallas is not going to not compete to the point where we would have some type of top pick to get a quarterback. They intend on competing. You know what I'm saying? So we'll probably fall into this same kind of space next year. Probably somewhere between 20 and 32 draft-wise, unless they just completely throw the season, and they're not going to do that. So we're not going to be in a position to even get like a quarterback next season unless obviously they pull some tricks out the hat and trade up, or you know what I'm saying, they really, really want it. So I think at some point, my ring light keep going out. I think at some point they're going to have to extend them because, what other options do we have, Matt?
Yeah, it's a great question.
You know what I'm saying? Like as much as people don't want to agree with this, people love the Dak Prescott type of quarterback. Big, stocky, can absorb hits, can run, can, he's definitely gotten better precision-wise and accuracy-wise, and his mechanics have definitely gotten better over the years. But they're looking for that type of, quarterback. It's similar to like Josh Allen. Again, being able to absorb runs, absorb hits, throw the ball, run. You know what I'm saying? That they're looking. So, I mean, Dak Prescott I just don't see what other choice we would have. You know what I'm saying? And I know people want to talk about Trey Lance, and that's another story for another day. But I don't think we have any other options but to extend him. You know what I'm saying? And he's going to demand what the market is set at. And I think Jerry and them need to get over that.
Yeah. I mean, to me, we have a saying: if you don't have a quarterback, then you're not really competing. If we've been honest, if you don't have a quarterback, you're not really competing in today's NFL. In today's NFL, more than any time I can remember, it's all quarterback driven, and it's always been quarterback driven. But it's really, really quarterback driven now. The best teams have a franchise quarterback, and I know next year Shedeur Sanders is coming out. We all know the connection between the Sanders family and the Cowboys and Jared and all that, and that will be the likely, idea, right? Like now walk with me here.
I'm listening.
I've heard, and I'm kind of intrigued by the notion that you let Dak play it out, one, to see if, hey, all in, bet on yourself, right? Like kind of like what Joe Flacco did with the Ravens 2012. He wanted a contract. They didn't give him a contract. He bet on himself. He won the Super Bowl, got an MVP, and got paid, right? So that's their aspect to it as well. But you let him play it out, knowing that you got a guy like Shedeur Sanders coming out next year. I know Prime say he's not interested in coaching in the NFL, but I feel like for the right price and for the right person, i.e. Jerry Jones, he might be interested. And Deion also put out the teams he would want his kids to play for, he would allow his kids to play for. And Dallas.
Why he was talking like he had a say in that though, Matt? Like I understand having a say in that with Shedeur, but he was talking about I want Travis to play here, and I'm like, you don't own him.
Right. Well, he says that Travis is one of his sons, so that's kind of like one of his, adopted. But
yeah, I get it.
I can see them pulling the Eli man if a team drafted them that they didn't want to go to and try to force their way to a certain situation. And I can see Dallas being like, hey, he doesn't want to play there, but we'll give you the picks necessary to be able to, swap him out, and what do you think about that, the potential of maybe letting it play out to keep your options open for Shedeur next season?
I need to see more from Shedeur before I even entertain that.
Yeah, you don't know if you're ready to start over at quarterback yet?
No. I mean, look, I will say this. I've never been a player's girl. Okay. I've literally been like straight the star. Whatever moves we make that will put us in positions to win a Super Bowl, that is what I'm about. You know what I'm saying? I hate to see players come and go a little bit, but at the same time, it's a business, and I want to see my team win, and I want to see us make moves to put us in a position to win games and championships. So am I ready to move on from Dak? No, not 100%, but there is a little inkling of me that's like, you know what I'm saying? If somebody or a situation presented itself where I feel like that will put us in the best position to win championships, Matt, I'm with that. I'm with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. That's I'm just telling it like it is. That's just me. You can call it how you see it, but that's just me. So I know there are a lot of people that are ready to see Dak go though. They're ready to see him walk. I feel like after last season, play it out. Bet on yourself like he did that last year. He was in MVP conversation. Like I'm trying to figure out what more, you know what I'm saying? Like as far as advancing past that Packers game, like our defense played horrible. The offense, like the team just did not come to play in general. You know what I'm saying? And that's a stigma for people that Dak doesn't show up in these big games. And there's a lot of people that's over it. So it's a lot of people that's over that, Matt. So I don't know.
Yeah, he hurt me in my fantasy league last year. I was doing very well, and then he had his worst game and lost in the playoffs. But anyway, it's not about me. Okay? It's not about me.
Right? On behalf of Cowboys Nation, our bad.
Hey, it ain't about me, okay? All right. So then you spoke about the star. You said you all about the star. So let's talk about two stars that belong on your team right now, and that's Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb.
Yes.
They are, to me, two foundational pieces on the offense and defensive side of the ball. Obviously, with Dak needing a contract, that makes it difficult with what's going to happen with them, because I feel like Micah's definitely going to break the bank, right? Like he's going to get paid astronomical contract, and then CeeDee Lamb is also getting himself into a situation where he's deserving of a big deal. What is your opinion on those guys? On those guys being re-signed, and there was some like information that got put out there about Micah Parsons being a distraction and doing all this stuff and with his podcast and all that. Like, what's your opinion on all of that foolishness, as well as do you think the deal gets done with those two guys? And if so, like, how is Jerry and Steven going to work that out? Like, I'm sure it's going to be like one at a time. And so what's your opinion on that?
Historically, we deal with players that have a lot going on and may cause drama. That's number one. So I think it was just a dry news week that week when somebody decided to write that and say people are tired of Micah. He's a distraction. His podcast, he just needs to play ball. It's the off season. I mean, damn, he can't have a hobby on his days off. That's insane. I felt like the news cycle was slow that week, and somebody needed something to write or talk about. Hey Matt, we can go in the vault about all the damn distractions that Dallas has had at receivers, at running backs, at special team folks. Stop. Like, Dallas, that organization is equipped to deal with any kind of craziness coming from a player, right? They've dealt with it from the inception. We ain't worried about that.
Brian, Michael Irvin, you name them. Yeah.
Come on. Come on. Like, so I don't think that was, and I don't think that any of that had any real substance.
Okay.
In terms of Micah and CD, you got to find a way to pay them. You got to find a way to keep them around. And they will. Dallas is not foolish enough to allow Micah Parsons to walk and go somewhere else. Like you said, he's going to break the bank. He has been top at his position since his very first year. So he's going to break the bank. I think I saw something earlier where he has like almost 41 sacks in just 3 seasons, right? So he is a force. He is a havoc wreaker. That ain't even a question. And CeeDee Lamb coming off of his best season last year with 1,700 yards. Him and Dak was, they was the connection last year, man. After starting off slow, I think the first 5 weeks, we just started off really slow for CD to have almost 2,000 yards by the end of the season. And we didn't really get rolling until week 6. That is crazy. That's crazy. So whatever way we decide to go, quarterback, whether we stick with Dak or we don't, you want the next person, bless you. You want the next person to come in with those comfort pieces there. I think we need another receiver alongside of,
Yeah, I agree.
But Cooks is cool, but we need another receiver. But you want to keep some of those familiar faces around. And to know that you got a Micah Parsons on the other side of the ball that's going to create havoc, that's going to create turnovers, get the ball back in the offensive hand. You ain't got to step in, Dak or whoever it may be, know that I ain't got to do it all by myself because my defense can't hold it down. As long as they got Micah, as long as they got 11, they're going to be able to hold it down. And then obviously having that comfort or that pillow with, CeeDee Lamb, you got to find a way to keep those guys. And they will. And I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with those, pieces staying right intact.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think if you're Dallas, there's no way Micah and CD can leave.
You can't.
If I had to choose between those two and Dak, I probably would let Dak go. And just.
Oh gosh.
I'm just saying.
Why you gotta be so tough with the decision?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying when you got CD.
I didn't even think about it.
I'm just saying, like, if I got to choose between having them two or the quarterback, I'll find me a quarterback. But yeah, these two right here, they studs, and we need them. So like, we just talked about the team with the players aspect. I'm gonna just come out and straight out and ask you: is Mike McCarthy the guy to lead this team to a Super Bowl?
Oh, dang! Where'd that come from? That wasn't on the rundown.
I add a couple little extra ones in there. I know. I need a real response. So, what do you think? Be honest. Give it to us real now. Don't give me. Tell me how you really feel. Yeah.
I think that the potential is there. Okay. Watching the Hard Knocks, getting a little more of a glimpse into his personality on that. I think that Mike can get it done. And shout out to Mike, man. Like, again, he had a lot to do with as to why Dak played really well last year. You know what I'm saying? We really thought that, there were people, not us. We knew we were going to be okay without Kellen Moore. There's a lot of people that thought that Dallas was going to fall off offensively because Kellen Moore walked. And, Schottenheimer and McCarthy held it down. We were still a top offense. Again, Dak played one of the best seasons, MVP conversation. So Mike McCarthy has the potential.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Okay, man.
This question then. Is this a make or break season for him? If you guys have a first round exit again, is he gone?
Should he be? Yes. Okay. Will he be? No. Because I've never seen Dallas let a coach walk away that fast. We dealt with Jason Garrett for all of those years after how many consecutive 8-8 seasons?
Sure.
They're pretty loyal to folks in those kind of positions. I'm gonna be honest with you. They don't deal with a whole lot of 2, 3, 4 years, and we just it could be a little bit more long term than that. So just knowing my front office, I don't know. Mike McCarthy follow all the rules. He let them pull strings a little bit when they want to. And they love those type of guys in the head coach position that ultimately still let them run the show. Steven and Jerry is who I'm talking about. So should he? Yeah, he should be on the hot seat 100%. This will be, if let's just say we go 12-5 again, get booted in the first round, like you said. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he should certainly be on the hot seat. Will he though?
Yeah. Which is why I don't think as much as for people in the media like us, oh man, Deion Sanders to the Cowboys would be so fun. Oh man, the content would just write itself.
Yeah, right? I don't want that. It's already too much. It's already too much. It's just already too much, So I don't know how much I like that.
But because of what you just said, though, I don't think they would do it. I don't think they will be able to control Deion the way they can control Mike. And I think they would want someone that they can keep, where they basically run the team, but he's just kind of a face of it. Now, what do you say? Like, I know Bill Belichick's name's gotten thrown out there, and people say, the Cowboys should have went and got Bill. What do you think? What do you think about Bill Belichick with the Cowboys?
I would have been mad at him as like a defensive guy, as the DC.
For sure.
I wouldn't have been mad at him for DC, but I don't like him as my head coach now.
Yeah, I don't think he would.
I need Dallas to develop this gangster, we ain't about to play with y'all type culture vibe down that thing. And that probably could be Deion. But like we just talked about, they not going to let Deion, you know what I'm saying, have his way like
Deion, right.
Right. Yeah. And that ain't Bill Belichick either. No. Yeah. He would try to make this New England of the South. Hell no. We don't need that. I'm good.
I mean, I'm sure you would take the 6 championships, but
that. But as far as like for real, like come on, Tom Brady. Tom Brady's my favorite player all the time, right? We didn't see the real Tom until Tom went to Tampa.
That's true.
Because it's a certain way you got to be up there in New England, and a lot of that. Not only did it come with the city itself, but the organization was ran like that, and that trickled down to the coach. I wouldn't want Bill Belichick being our head coach.
Bill runs a tight ship, right?
Exactly. And that could be a gift and a curse a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe we need somebody to run a tight ship down there, Matt.
Who?
Maybe we need somebody to run a tight ship down there.
Because you do got a lot of personalities down there. A lot of stars, no pun intended. And sometimes stars need to be humbled a little bit. They need to be reeled in and understand, like, we know you're a star, right? But this is still the ultimate team sport.
Facts.
And individuals don't win championships. And so until y'all start thinking like a team and moving like a team, we're gonna still be in this box that we've been trying to get out of for a very long time. And so I think they could definitely use some discipline down in Dallas. I watched Dallas from obviously I'm not a fan of the Cowboys, but so from a distance, I'm just a football fan watching them. I see a team that's very undisciplined. I see a team that is like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, right? Like one day they could look like the best team in the entire NFL, and then the next Sunday they could look like the most confused team in the NFL, right? They look like a team
all over.
And so there's no way they should have lost that game against Green Bay at home. You know, like, come on now.
Somewhere where we hadn't lost all season.
All season, right? Like you got home field, you know, versus a very young team that has no real playoff experience, and they came into your house and punched you in the mouth. So I felt like that was because of a lack of discipline. I don't know what the practice was like going into that game. I don't know if people was taking I don't know if those guys was taking the Packers lightly and overlooking them a little bit because, you know, like the Packers were just kind of happy to be there. They're young. They don't know what they don't know. And that's what happens, right? You get punched in the mouth and you go home, and then now everybody's looking around like, oh, what just happened? I know you mentioned the receiver. Did you know that Keon Coleman, the receiver from Florida State, is cousins with CeeDee Lamb? Did you know that?
I think I did hear that. And I know that he's also an option on the board.
Mm-hmm.
That he could very well be there, you know, in the later rounds.
In the second round, yeah. I mean, he would be a nice. I mean, CeeDee. I want him to come to the Ravens, so I hope it don't happen. But CeeDee Lamb and Keon Coleman.
You want y'all to grab him first, or like in the later rounds?
I would take him in the first round only because we pick at 30, right? So we're basically like, if we don't get him at 30, he's going to be there at 62, right? So
exactly.
At 30. So, but yeah, I think him and CeeDee would be that would be a dangerous combination. But you guys got to find a running back. You know, I'm thinking maybe Jonathan Brooks from Texas would be a really good fit down there.
I know about Jonathan Brooks. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah. All of Texas fans, man. You know, shout out. You know, he played at the University of Texas, so he's a hometown kid. Be able to stay right there in Texas, play for the Cowboys. I think he'd be exactly kind of what you like. You guys would need, and then also got like a Blake Corum who's drawing comparisons to Emmitt Smith. Right, very similar stature. Yep, very similar stature. Tough guy, tough kid, can catch the ball at the backfield. So there's definitely some options in this draft for the Cowboys at the running back position. So before we go, I got to get your take on the landscape of the WNBA. Like it's such a fun time right now for them, and I am loving the amount of attention that's going there and the momentum. And I just hope it continues. I, for one, has already stated that I'm going to do my part. I'm buying the WNBA, league pass on cable. I'm going to buy merch. I'm going to do whatever I can to support. So, like, as a person who covers the league, just go ahead, tell us how give us some insight about the WNBA and where it's going.
Yeah, like you said, first of all, buy the merch. Get your league passes, folks. Don't share league passes with other people. Get your individual league passes, only $35 for the year, I believe. Get your individual league pass, to generate more revenue, create more viewership. Make sure that y'all do that. I don't know what is going on with. I mean, this is like red light special over here, man. My ring light keeps turning off on me. Sorry about that. I am really excited. I will say that although I cover the WNBA, I tend to have my moments of being a casual to the WNBA. I'm typically in tune as to what's going on because I'm a sports girl. So, I know headlines, I know narratives, I'll know players, I'll know what's going on, but really, really tapped in, I can sometimes, just be a little bit of a casual with that. Okay. But I just love the direction that this league is going. People got to remember that the WNBA is very young. You know what I'm saying? Like the NBA is like 60 years old, I think. You know what I'm saying? WNBA ain't even 30 yet. You know what I'm saying? So, they're climbing. This is probably, but we ain't that old to know, but this is probably exactly the way that the NBA was in its first 20 years, just generating revenue and popularity and the league, it's a league. It gotta have its ups and downs. It has to go have its growing pains. But I am so excited.
Me too.
About what this draft class going to bring to the WNBA. And I shout out to all of the individuals that sweated, they put their blood out there, their tears out there, your Lisa Leslie's, your your Diana Taurasi, your Cynthia Coopers, you know what I'm saying?
Moore,
like,
you know?
yeah, your Maya Moore, all of those individuals that paved the way. Like, I love me some Angel Reese. I love Angel Reese because Angel Reese is a trash talker. And what you need in you gotta have somebody that she's a trash talker. We love Caitlin Clark. We love, all of the women that came out, the women that's coming out next year. You got Paige coming up, at some point. We're not even gonna get started on what Juju is gonna be. I mean, Juju is going to be an absolute dog. Yes, but obviously your Candace Parkers and all of those individuals, your Skylar Diggins and your Asia Wilsons and all of those incredible women, your Brianna Stewart, your Sabrina Ionescu's. I can't it's just gonna be such a fun league to watch. And I'm really, really excited. I'm happy that we are finally here. And as much as people really shout out to Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, because they really are like that thing on their back these last college seasons. You understand what I'm saying? And really, really made women's hoops the talk of the town.
For sure. Why do you think Caitlin Clark gets so much hate? What do you think it is?
Because she white.
Yeah. You think it's resentment a little bit?
Because she white.
Yeah. That's what it is.
I mean, we're gonna keep it funky. We're gonna keep it a bean. That's probably 80% of the reason why Caitlin Clark gets so much hate.
Yeah.
But my thing is that in terms of the visibility for people that have been advocating for it with the WNBA, it had to be somebody.
Yeah. Somebody
had to do it. Somebody had it, and it just happened to be Caitlin Clark, who is literally the female version of Steph Curry. That is what is selling right now. Steph Curry, people have this brand of ball, men and women's side, is what has been the demand since we start seeing Steph Curry shooting the lights out of things. And now we got it on the female side. So I mean, that's why she get the hate, man, because she white, and the WNBA is predominantly black.
Right.
Yeah. But look, it ain't gonna be easy on Caitlin. Okay, the people are crazy as hell. They think that this is gonna be a cakewalk for her in the WNBA. Y'all are tripping. She got a bullet on her back.
They're gonna make her prove her stardom, but I think she's up for the task. I mean,
I
think Caitlin, like you said, someone had to come along with the amount of popularity that she has in order to move the league forward. Like,
exactly.
The league has always had great players. You just mentioned all of them, but let's be honest, the casual fan didn't care. The casual fan wasn't watching. Casual fan wasn't buying merch.
Exactly.
Now all of these people are now migrating to the WNBA because of Caitlin Clark, because of Angel Reese. And I think instead of choosing sides, feeling like you gotta, I'm an Angel Reese fan, so I can't like Caitlin Clark, or I like Caitlin Clark, I can't like Angel Reese. I think we should just embrace both of these young ladies.
But here's the deal, Matt. No. Because in order for the league to get to the level, we want it to be at the level of the NBA.
True.
It gotta be that. It gotta be where I don't like LeBron, and so it is what it is. I don't like LeBron, and because I don't like LeBron, I think that KD is better. I'm not saying that's my personal, but it is an either or in the NBA. I mean, you give credit where it's due, but for the most part, for the fan of the WNBA, it is an either or. Jordan is my GOAT, and that's the end of the conversation. It's not Jordan is my GOAT, and maybe LeBron is too. Nah, it's either or. You have to be able to have those same kind of dynamics, I feel like, in the WNBA. Don't let up on them because they're women. That's exactly what we don't want you to do. Don't sleep on us or let up on us because we're women. No. If you feel like that Caitlin is your GOAT, then let Caitlin be your GOAT. If Asia Wilson is your GOAT, then that's cool. If I don't want to give praise I can give respect, but I've been a LeBron hater all my life. And I'm gonna still be this light is burning me out.
This reminds me
be that person.
This reminds me so much of one of my favorite movies, and it's Love and Basketball. And the quote that Monica says to Quincy, she says, you get all up in somebody's face and you get a pat on your ass. But I celebrate and I get told to act like a lady.
Exactly.
Right? And that's what we have
She
been.
said, I'm a ball player. That's what she said. I'm a ball player.
Exactly.
And so that's what we don't want.
Yep.
That's what we don't want. You know, a couple years ago, they talked about how I think it was Shaq or a couple of them was like that the women need to dunk and that's how they're going to get popular. Well, you're wrong because they're not dunking. And here we are. We're having this conversation and we're talking about women's basketball more than we're talking about men's. So, you know, we tend to whatever we touch, it's going to eventually turn to gold. That's just how it is with women. But we got to stay on those same dynamics. You know what I'm saying? I want us to be on social media and you know what I'm saying? Damn it. If one of the girls is having a bad hair day, somebody's lace is sliding, we're going to talk about your lace sliding, sis, because don't nobody have a problem talking about Kevin Durant's ball spot. Don't nobody have a problem talking about LeBron James' ball spot, how he need to give it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll create engagement. It'll create funny. I'm ready for all of that. I'm ready for it all.
Anything that creates buzz and conversation
yes.
and makes you size. Hey,
yes.
That's what sports is all about. And I agree with you. You're so right about that.
I love it.
Actually, what's next for you? What do you have? Well, yes. We've talked about where you are in your accomplishments. So what's next for you? That's number one. Number two, what do you got going on this week? Are you doing anything for the draft? Are you what's coming up next? Where people can find you? How can people follow you and see what you're doing? Because I think we all need to be a part of it.
I appreciate it. Yes. So the spaces are going to be basically 100% for the most part NBA dominated because we're in the middle of the playoffs, right? I have a couple of show invites for the draft, like draft parties and stuff like that, but I don't have anything particularly going on. We're not running a Sports After Dark after hour show on YouTube. I'm kind of just kicking back, want to enjoy. I got a promotion at work, which put me in like a 90-day probationary period. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, which put me in a probationary period, so I can't attend the draft this year. My probationary period was up today.
Look at God.
Right. And now because it's up, like I can't go to the draft. I would have had to put in some time ago to go to the draft. But so I just plan on kicking back. I am currently in school going for my master's, so I got schoolwork to do. I have 2 beautiful children. We got a busy weekend coming up. So for the 3 days, I'm gonna kind of kick back, look to see what Dallas does, analyze and assess that, and move forward. But please, if you are a fan of the Twitter Spaces, jump into the Sports After Dark Twitter Spaces every night that there is a basketball game. We will be running immediately after the basketball game. So make sure that you are tapped into Sports After Dark. There is the page right there. Make sure that you are tapped into our YouTube channel as well. That is where we do our after hours show. And beautiful. We got a new follower. That's where we do our after hours show. And that's on Mondays and Thursdays. Again, we won't be running this Thursday because we're gonna, leave that open for the NFL draft. And make sure that you're following us on TikTok and Instagram. We have pages up. You can go to our link tree. You can grab some Sports After Dark merch. Again, the WNBA season is on the way. Defender season is already popping, so you can grab some coverage from me on that. And I mean, we're in the thick of things. It's really NBA driven right now. Like the NFL draft is a pit stop, but the NBA playoffs is we about to be on top of that going forward from now till mid-June.
Yeah, we in deep right now. I mean, Minnesota. Phoenix right now, 77-71 in the third quarter. So, we're, like you said, we're really deep into the NBA playoffs, but NFL draft is a thing. I'll be hosting a live stream draft party. Obviously, I do it every year. Yep. So we'll be streaming on Spaces. We'll also be doing live streams of the draft. We'll be having guests coming through all day long. So actually, feel free if you ain't got nothing to do. Slide through, around.
I will.
Around pick 23-ish, 24, slide through so we can discuss what the boys are going to do when they're on the clock. And everybody tap in, man. Make sure you follow Sports After Dark. make sure you are following Ashley Baker on Twitter, IG, whatever, because it's great content, man. If you just like sports and you just like talking, this is it, right?
I appreciate you, man. I thank you so much. I see you doing your thing on Twitter Spaces. I see you doing your thing all week on the shows. Thank you. Man, shout out to you. And thanks again for just having me on. This was a great show. You are doing your thing. And remember, like for real, there are people that are looking up to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And wanting to follow and the footsteps and the path that you're creating. So shout out to you.
I appreciate that. Appreciate it. All love. Look, signing out. Another fantastic episode. Draft Nerds here. Ashley Baker. Go Cowboys.
With the light. Y'all with the light issues. Y'all see this light issue? This is insane. This is just insane.
Hey, hey, even with the light off, you still shining. All right?
Thank you. That was a bar.
That's a bar, right? That's the bar. So shout out, man. Cowboys fan, Cowboys Nation. Thank you for rocking with us today. Shout out to Ravens Vlog, NFL fans everywhere. We appreciate you. Until next time, peace.